Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This week I have an Easter special that you'll just love to make. I'm gonna make a chocolate bomb that is in the shape of an Easter egg. So I'm gonna get started with the actual egg shells. And for this I'm using milk chocolate that has high fluidity. If you can't find that, then just regular milk chocolate is perfectly fine. Now what we want to do is temper the chocolate, and that means we heat it up, then we cool it down, and then we heat it up to a working temperature. I have a dedicated video to show you how to temper chocolate because it's different for the different chocolate types like milk, dark, and white. But this is something that you definitely want for your chocolate bombs because it will give it a nice presentation. It's very shiny, but most importantly, it has a really great snap. And that means the second you add liquid to it to melt it, it will melt very evenly. So what I'm doing now is with my working temperature chocolate, I'm going to start filling this egg polycarbonate mold that I just purchased. And these are great for this sort of work. I highly recommend, but you can also use a silicone mold for this. Now we want to fill the mold to have enough chocolate to cover the entire surface. So make sure to swirl this around a few times, as long as it takes for you to cover evenly every single inch of the shell. When you're done, you can flip it over and remove the excess. And the trick to get rid of really all the excess and have a nice and thin shell is to bang the mold a little bit, and I'm using my scraper to do that. So once that is done, you can just scrape off the excess off of the mold like I'm showing here, and your shells are ready to be cooled down. I'm putting mine in the fridge. Ideally you want to let these cool very gently and for a long time, so I would say 2 hours, but I left mine overnight to be on the safe side. And this is what they look like. They're super shiny, they're beautifully covered and thin, and they're very easy to just slide out of the shell. So now that we have the hardest part of the whole thing, we are ready to prepare the filling for these chocolate bombs. So this is what will give your hot chocolate all of the flavor. And I have a great recipe for you guys. I have here some cacao powder, some milk powder, a little bit of sugar, and of course tiny marshmallows. And the measurements that I'm giving you are for a very intense cup of hot chocolate. So I do like a lot of cocoa powder in the mix and not as much sugar. So it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. So feel free to adapt it to your taste. Now I am making this mixture in advance because I want to make sure it's well mixed before I dump it into the eggshells. So just give it a good stir. And that's it. That's all the preparation that we need. We are ready to assemble this. And don't forget about those mini marshmallows. I use mini ones because they're easier to fit in the egg. Now let's put everything together. And in order for us to be able to close the eggs, so putting those two halves together, we need a source of heat. And I have a great trick for you guys. All you will need is a saucepan, and you will want to heat that up either on the stove, or if you have one of these torches like I'm going to show you in the video, then that is also going to work perfectly fine. Now make sure to pack all of the powder that was prepared. So this is your hot chocolate mix. I like to add that first, and then I put some marshmallows at the top, and I do this with 1/2 of this eggshell. The important thing is that you should be able to close this with the other half of the chocolate egg shell. Now here is my saucepan. I'm just grabbing my torch, heating up the bottom, and like I said, you can do this in a burner. And then I'll take my half and slightly rub it against the bottom, and that has enough melted chocolate to be able to act like the glue for these two halves. So press it gently. Remember, these shells are relatively thin, so don't try to be too harsh with it, because you might risk breaking the egg that you worked so hard for. So just gentle pressure, and then you can use the mold to kind of keep it in place as you move on to the next ones. And I tried to make a couple extra shells because it happens that you might not be able to have everything done without cracking the eggshells, or just melting the half a little too much. You don't want to do that, because then you're making it smaller than the other half and it might not fit again. Now for the last step, we're gonna place the egg. I mean, at this point you're good to go. These are ready. You can use them as gifts, and people love these. You can decorate them even further, but I'm just gonna show you how the chocolate bomb works. You can use a little bit of melted chocolate to glue it to a glass if you wanted to, and that would ensure that the bomb doesn't move around when you pour the hot liquid. But I'm not gonna do that for the video. It's just a suggestion. Now finally, I'm just grabbing my milk and I'm gonna heat it up to a gentle boil, and that's it. I'm gonna pour it straight onto my eggshell and just wait for the magic to happen. So in some videos, people don't ask that you temper the chocolate, but they also don't show you the real-time melting action. And you can see here that the shell has just melted beautifully and super quickly without stirring a lot. And that is the beauty of using tempered chocolate. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like it, to subscribe, and to share. And I'll see you next time for more. Thanks for watching.